And joining us for more on this is the Shadow Climate Change and Energy Minister, Ted O'Brien. Ted O'Brien, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it. Chris Bowen isn't the only person saying that nuclear is incompatible with renewables. I could give you a big list of experts, but let me just quote one. Steve Edwell, he's the Economic Regulation Authority Chair, an independent umpire focused on keeping utility prices down in my home state of WA. He's saying that nuclear power and renewables can't work together in WA's electricity grid. What do you know that he doesn't?
Great to be with you, Ashleigh. Whether it be Anthony Albanese, Chris Bowen and some other people who are suggesting that zero emissions nuclear energy can't work alongside renewables, they are at odds with the rest of the world. I don't know what it is they know that the rest of the world seems to not know. Why is it that Australia is a member of the G20, the 20 most advanced economies in the world, with all other G20 members either using nuclear energy today or progressing down the path to doing so? They haven't done their numbers at all on their own plan. I was hoping that Chris Bowen today, after 2 years in government, could look the Australian people in the eye and tell them the total system cost of his plan. We know that Australians are paying among the highest electricity prices in the world. They promised a $275 reduction in household power bills. But Ashleigh, we have families now paying up to $1,000 more than what Labor promised. And the best the minister can do is come out with motherhood statements trying to beat up on the opposition's policies. He's in government. He needs to answer for his broken promises. Isn't it?
I mean, speaking of the numbers and the costings, when will we actually see your costings? It does seem a bit ridiculous to be debating the pros and cons of your policy when such a crucial plank, which is the economic case, is a big unknown at this point.
I think you're dead right, Ashleigh, that we cannot go to the next election not knowing how much both teams, in terms of the Liberal National team versus the Labor Green team, policies are going to cost. And we've been very clear.
And when will we get your costings?
Once we have released our gas policy and renewables policy, we will then release the economics of our energy plan. Labor, despite being in government, still refuses to make such a commitment. And that is why we are seeing prices soar, threats of the lights going out, industries collapsing, and jobs will shed under this Labor government. They made no such commitment of being transparent with their costings. We have, despite the fact we're in opposition. We shall be completely transparent about the economics of our plan, and we'll be proud to do so because, unlike Labor, we'll be able to deliver cheap, clean and consistent 24/7 electricity.
Labor's also warning about the impact on our water resources from nuclear power generation. How would you safeguard crucial water resources needed for agriculture in many of the locations you've nominated as sites for nuclear generators? As I understand it, vast amounts of water are needed to cool those radioactive cores.
Ashleigh, yet again, Labor is desperately looking around to try and find an angle of attack. But we have deliberately chosen 7 locations across the country, former or existing coal sites, coal plants that have been using water, that have water licences in place. In terms of the actual water use, again, it depends on the technology. There is no rule of thumb. Is Mr Bowen suggesting it's definitely water cooling? Is it dry cooling? Is it hybrid cooling? I think, yet again, he doesn't want to talk about his own track record. Emissions up, prices are up, lights going out.
So you can't tell us the cost, the amount of power, or how much water your plan would use?
We're being very clear about what our plan is, and we have said that we will be introducing either small modular reactors or the modern larger plants. Now, as for the amount of water, Ashleigh, it depends on the cooling system. And so you have water cooling, you have dry cooling, you can have a hybrid, right? it's basically Mr. Bowen trying to go to a level of detail that he knows very well, because we've already announced the policy, that there'll be a full characterisation assessment, so the technical feasibility shall be done within a 2.5-year period at each of these locations, and we'll be having the experts making the determination of the specific cooling technology. But I can guarantee you this, is there will be no water taken from the consumptive pool. There'll be no threat to agriculture. We're talking about the Liberal National Party here. If there's any political movement that has been protective of our energy security, it's the Coalition. It's not Labor, it's not the Greens. What he was silent on today was the amount of water used for Labor's own green energy superpower plan. This is the green hydrogen plan, where you need 9 litres of water for a kilogram of hydrogen. There's no suggestion from Labor about how much water their plan needs. We have deliberately chosen coal plant sites because they have water, they've got water licences, and that is why, as part of the technical assessment already done, we see no problem whatsoever when it comes to water. Again, this is a rabbit hole created by Labor,
well, Ted O'Brien,
so we all stick our hole down that hole.
We look forward to seeing... We look forward to seeing more of the detail. As you know, the experts are crying out for all of that, so we'll look forward to seeing that hopefully sooner